Hello everyone, Ryan Archer, West Ham Fan TV. We're here today in Canning Town, East London, outside the famous Peacock Gym. We've been invited down by up-and-coming British boxer and undefeated boxer Sammy McNess to talk about his career, his upcoming fight and of course his love for West Ham. So let's go inside and meet the man himself. Inside the Peacock Gym. Sammy, thank you so much for joining us, mate.
No worries.
How you been?
Oh yeah, been great, yeah. Training's gone well.
Right, going to start off, before we talk about boxing and your upcoming fight, let's talk about your love for West Ham.
Okay, yeah.
Where did it all start, mate? What got you into West Ham?
My dad, the first game I ever went to, I was about, well I was young, it was the FC Mex game. I don't know how old I must have been.
I think it was about 99, I think that was, yeah.
So I would have been about 7 years old. That was the first game I went to. And I've supported them before, but like from there, I just love the club. I love West Ham. I always have done.
I mean, because I can imagine growing up at school, you'd have had a lot of Man United, Arsenal fans. You could have had a lot of mates that have influenced you to support them, but it was always West Ham for you.
Well, I was brought up in Bethnal Green when I was really young, so that was a natural club for me to support. West Ham, the local team in East London. Then I moved out to Collier Row in Romford. Still, there was a lot of West Ham fans, but there was obviously more Arsenal, more Man United, and but obviously I've always supported them since I was a young boy. Yeah.
So we moved to the London Stadium this year. What are your memories of the bowling ground and the nights there? And like your first game would have been a night game, wasn't it, against Mets? Yeah.
It was, yeah. I don't know. I was really young. Obviously, I can't remember it too well. The first game. I think what I can remember is, was it Paolo Di Canio and Lampard? They had an argument over a penalty. I might be wrong. That might be another game.
I think that was the Bradford game, but them two were always arguing.
I might have even went to that game. That's what I mean. I don't know, but I don't know. It was just unbelievable. The best memory for me was obviously the last game there last year.
It's been a year since that. I can't believe it's been a year already.
I know. I don't think nothing can top that game in football for me. So
who was your hero growing up? Who was your West Ham idol?
Paolo Di Canio, definitely. I loved him. He was unbelievable. I remember when I was a kid, I used to play football in the school playground. I must have been about 5 or 6. And he used to wear this little ribbon thing on his hand. Can you remember it? Yeah. And obviously I was obsessed with him, and I tried to make one myself, and I really wanted it. And in the school playground, I used to lift the top over my head and everything. Like.
I used to do the same thing. My hero was Julian Dix.
Was he really?
And you remember he always used to rip his shirt, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember doing that. My mum bought me a shirt. I ripped it. I got a slap round the head going home with a ripped shirt. My mum weren't happy with that, mate. But like I said, let's talk about this season. It's been a bit of a mixed season, innit? First year at the London Stadium. It's just on and off the pitch. There's been trouble in the stands and that. What's your thoughts on the London Stadium?
To be honest with you, I don't really like it over there. I've missed a few games just for the fact that it's not the same as Upton Park. I mean, it's sad. You go over there and it's true. It has been like a soulless bowl at times. That's what people have been saying. But after the last game against Tottenham, it really showed what that ground could be. It was unbelievable. The atmosphere was it was jumping the whole time.
Yeah. And Slaven Bilic, are you Bilic in or Bilic out?
I'm Bilic in. I'm a big fan of Bilic. He's obviously ex-West Ham and he's passionate. You can see the players love him as well. So, I mean, you've got to give him a chance. He's only been there for, this is his 2nd year. So you can't, after having one bad season moving into a new stadium, you can't just get rid of him and get someone else in. You need to be loyal. You look at Alex Ferguson when he was at Man United. Obviously, when he started, I don't think he started winning titles straight away, did he?
No.
So you got to work with managing. I mean, the players love him, and I think he's just good for the club.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, mate. I love Bilic. Like you said, it's his 2nd season. It was always going to be difficult to follow the season before and he's had the new stadium to come into. And I see a few players, like people like Mark Noble gets a lot of stick, but he's the captain, and we need to get behind people like that, you know. And going on to the transfer window, I mean, season's finished. What do you think? Where do we need to strengthen next season?
I think we need a striker. We've been saying it for so many seasons, but we do need a good, reliable striker that's not going to get injured so often and that can score goals, that doesn't get frightened in front of the goal. And we obviously we obviously need a right back, I say, as well, a defender. We need to, because our defence has been quite good over the last few weeks, the last few games. But I think we need a right back. We need a couple of forwards, maybe. Just strengthen in all areas. We've got a lot of young players as well. We need to maybe give them a chance.
Just before we go on, what about Andy Carroll? Do you think, and Sacco as well? Just two players there. Do you think we should get rid of them or keep them?
I mean, with Carroll, when he's fit, he's unbelievable. He gives all of the defence across every team across the Premier League. He gives them trouble. That's what I mean. He scores great goals. He's an aerial threat. But it's just that he's not reliable. He only lasts about 3 games. But I mean, his wages. Can we afford to pay his wages? That's what I mean. If he's going to play 3 games out of 10 games he played 3, can we really afford to pay his wages to be sitting on the bench?
Yeah, no, that's it. Me, I love Andy Carroll, and like you said, on his day, he's one of the best in the Premier League. But it's just keeping him fit all the time, isn't it? And but look, next season, what realistically, where do you think we should be aiming for? Top 10? Be comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'd say top 10. I mean, it's going to take a few years to build on in this new stadium. Build with the manager we've got. He needs time. He needs time with the club. You can't just expect things to happen overnight. You need to give the players a chance and let the young ones come through. And obviously, maybe in a couple of years' time we'll be pushing on for European places. But for now, next season I'll be happy with another top 10 place if we can get it this year, obviously. Definitely,
I agree. Right, I've interviewed a few ex-players and that, and I'm quite excited because I get to talk about boxing in this interview. Yeah. So let's forget West Ham now. Let's talk about you, your career. You're 6 undefeated now. Yeah. I mean, as a pro, when growing up, like, when did you know that you're good enough to be a pro? You know, when did you know that you wanted to be a boxer as well?
Well, my dad was a pro, and in fact, he trained in this gym as a professional. So I've been coming to this gym since I could walk, I'd say. And I've been around the sport my whole life, so this is always what I wanted to do. When I was about 7, I wanted to be a footballer for West Ham, but obviously it was hard to get scouted, and I was doing 2 things at the same time. But boxing's always been my number 1 love. It's what I've been born and I've been brought up around the sport. So since I was a baby, I've always wanted to be a professional boxer.
I mean, you've got your fight coming up next week. How's training been going? I mean, you're trained by Mark Tibbs. I mean, great trainer. I've known him throughout the years. I've seen him down here and things like that. Great trainer. I mean, how's the camp been going?
Yeah, camp's gone brilliant. I've had some great sparring, some experienced sparring, European champions, British champions, Commonwealth champions, just from this camp. And it's gone great. I mean, Mark knows exactly how to train a fighter, and I trust in everything he does. The way he sets my training camp out, I trust everything. So it's gone great. It's gone great. I feel
your fight's next week. Do you know who your opponent is yet?
I think this next one I could be fighting someone from like an Eastern European country.
Yeah. Do you find it with training when you don't know who you're coming up against that you have to train different, or you just train the same? And
at the stage I'm at the moment, I'm fighting say 6 rounders, and I've only had 6 fights. So for me, it's just gaining experience. So I mean, in my 4th fight, I think my opponent got changed about 3 times the week of the fight. Yeah. So you can look at a few videos before, and then you have a rough idea what they're like, but until I'm fighting for titles, that's when you really study an opponent and you get the right sparring for that opponent, and then you obviously train around how you're going to beat that opponent. But at the stage I'm at, I'm just gaining experience, and I had a lot of experience as an amateur as well. I was on a GB team for about 4 years, and you deal with different styles fighting in different countries. So I'm sort of used to it. I have one little look of an opponent, then you sort of just know what to do and you do it straight away. So it's quite easy.
I mean, next week's the big night. Are you nervous at all? I mean, there's a lot of West Ham fans going, and I've seen this thing this week on Twitter where your walking music, like, it's split. You got the Clash and the Cockney Rejects. I see you tweet out a picture yesterday with Jeff from the Cockney Rejects. Did that swing it a bit? Did he have a little word in your ear?
I think it has done, yeah. I saw Jeff down there yesterday. Do you know what? Someone gave me an idea to do that poll, and I did not expect it to be 50-50. I was completely shocked by it. There was over 2,000 votes, and I mean, it's not helped at all doing that poll. But I think seeing him yesterday, it's changed my mind.
It's swayed it a bit. Yeah. Should get him to sing you out, or the ring walk. Get him on the ring walk.
Maybe if I'm fighting for a big title one day, he'd do it. I know he done it for Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah, at the bowling, I remember that.
Yeah, he did it for Kevin. So hopefully one day in the future he might be able to do it.
Yeah. And like you say, it's a big night next week. I mean, live on Box Nation, and it's Mayweather Promotions there as well, and one of Mayweather's fighters fighting on that.
Yeah, the top of the bill is Mayweather's. They call him his protege. He's only 22 years old and he's a world champion. He's currently the youngest world champion there is, and everyone's saying he's going to be the next Floyd Mayweather. So I'm hoping Floyd will be there as well. It should be a good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Will you be nervous with him sitting ringside?
No.
Or will you just not think about him and just get what you got to get done?
Yeah, I'll just try and blank everything out. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of West Ham supporters there, and I mean, I'll be walking to the ring. I might hear them, but I'll be so focused I won't really know what's going on anyway. I'll just be focusing on that ring and my opponent in that ring. And
what's the dream? Could you we've just had. I mean, I was at Wembley for the Joshua Klitschko fight, and it was unbelievable. Yeah. And do you think in the future, London Stadium, Sammy McNess world title fight, is that the dream?
Yeah, that is my dream. My dream was after seeing Kevin Mitchell fight at Upton Park. That was my dream, to fight there also for a world title. But obviously I can't do it now, so gonna go one bigger to the London Stadium, 60,000.
That'd be a massive night. But look, there's still tickets available for your fight. So where can people get tickets from?
You can contact me directly. We've only got a few days left really for you to get tickets from me. But from then, once I give the tickets back, you can get them directly from Frank Warren, or maybe get them on the door on the night. But yeah, it's going to be a good night. Can't wait.
It's going to be buzzing, mate. Loads of West Ham there. But look, Sammy, it's so good to meet you, mate. Good luck next week. And knock the geezer out. That's what I want to say, mate.
Yeah, I hope so.
Look, I'm Ryan Archer, West Ham Fan TV. Sammy McNess, thank you so much for joining us today. Like I said, tickets are still available. We'll put all the links in below. Sammy's Twitter, the links for the tickets. And yeah, we'll leave that there. I'm Ryan Archer, West Ham Fan TV. This is Sammy McNess. Good luck next week, mate.
Come on, you Ryan.